Dutch football fans, you're back on Football-Oranje to see us talking about Dutch national team. And we are live, of course, meaning you can drop us a live comment or comment down below and we'll react to it on the show. You can ask any questions. A 4-0 win for the Netherlands against Finland, pretty much securing World Cup qualification. We expected it, but we didn't expect a nice performance. Actually quite an enjoyable watch. I was saying to Abdul just before we came on air, boring in a good way because it was that routine and that straightforward. Some nice individual performances to talk about, but just going to get first reactions. Mike, Abdul, what do you think?
I would say the first half specifically, it wasn't football. It was a party, in my opinion. It was a complete domination. We were talking about this before the stream. You know, I wrote to Koeman in his account on Instagram, asking him to try Kluivert, just like how he tried him against Spain. It did work very well. I don't know if he read my comment or not, but I'm glad he did use Kluivert behind the attackers. I think his role was very important in this match. He proved also that Reinders and Gravenberch maybe should not play together. It's either Gravenberch or Reinders. We always need number 10, playmaker. Also, Timber. I think Timber earned his place in the team. Always be a defender with Van Dijk. Overall, a very important win, and I think we are 99.9% through to the World Cup.
Yeah, I think compared to the game against Malta, that was much better. I think that the front line was better. I think with Malen on the right, he allowed Dumfries to get more involved. He was more fluid. I think the commentator said pretty early on the stream I was watching that if you have Malen there, the front three can be so fluid. They can just move around and switch places. And Malen caused a lot of danger early on. I thought he took his goal really well as well. But yeah, Kluivert made a huge difference, just picking up the space, picking up pockets, not getting in each other's way in the midfield. Yeah, I think the performance was night and day to the Malta game. And it was just nice to have the game over by half-time. And it's been like, okay, it's calm. Yeah, the second half was a bit more of a chore to watch, but yeah, we take that, you know, just dominating the game and just seeing it out for 45 minutes and getting another goal through Gakpo was nice to see. But, you know, I think the only question marks I'd have would be around some of the substitutions that Koeman made in the second half. I don't think Weghorst, again, did anything after he came on, except for just fell over and got in the way a lot. Why didn't he try, say, for instance, Malen through the middle? Would have been interesting if you moved him middle and then somebody else on the right wing. You know, Koop Meiners is on the bench, you know, give him a shot. If he's so much better than Joey Veerman, you know, why not give him a shot and see what he can do instead of bringing on Reinders, who was on a yellow card and could have got suspended against Poland as well. So apart from the substitutions in the second half, I think Koeman got the starting lineup right. And yeah, you can just enjoy a comfortable win and hope that Lithuania beat Poland later on.
Yes, that would be really good news for us. Of course, we have a busy summer ahead covering the World Cup and Football-Oranje. The player I really want to pick out, and partly because I'm an Aston Villa fan, but also because I've been picking on him as a bit of a weak link on the right wing. Daniel Malen this evening was playing just like he did in his most recent game for Aston Villa, where he was playing not quite on the right wing, not as a main striker, but he was tucked inside. And as you already picked out, Dumfries can obviously attack more than down the right side, and Malen can play more centrally. And that's when he's better. But it seems as if coaches over the years don't seem to play in there often enough, or maybe hasn't warranted a place there often enough. But Koeman seemed to tweak the way that Malen played tonight, because the positions he was taking up were very similar to what Emery was getting him to do at Villa in the last couple of games there. Maybe there's been words said there. Koeman, Malen, they've been talking about it. He's watched Malen play Villa in that position and wants to get in there. I'll say it again. Malen is best in the front two. And whilst he was mainly on the right side, the right winger position, he was tucking in a lot more and could easily have been a threat on the last man. His goal came from the centre of the pitch, just outside the area. Nice goal, nice play with Memphis. It was really encouraging to see that Frimpong can play really well on the right side, but so can Malen in a slightly different way.
Yes, I think Malen also, because he scored the 2 goals against Aston Villa, maybe this alarmed Koeman. knowing how to use him in the right way with Oranje. Plus, Malen is getting more minutes with Aston Villa. That is also helping him to play better and better. So I'm happy to see him playing that level. Yes.
Yeah, the only thing I hope is that this doesn't stop Koeman looking for a right winger. You don't want him just to be like, okay, I found my solution. Here's Malen, and then he stops, trying things out and thinks that he's got Frimpong as an option, Malen, and then everything just stops and that's it. There's still players out there like Kadai, like Somerville, who could possibly come into it if they start playing more for their clubs and impressing. I just think Koeman's one of these coaches that as soon as something goes right, sometimes he's like, okay, I can just leave it as it is.
Yeah, for the next 6 months.
Yeah, and he just expects it to always be the same, and it doesn't go that way. It was a good performance by Malen, but we've seen many that aren't good for Malen on the right-hand side, so definitely. We can't get carried away from it, and we can't just stop looking for that solution to the right wing, because there is solutions out there coming, and Koeman needs to try them. It was interesting as well when Xavi Simons came on that Justin Kluivert moved out to the right as well. So yeah, there's plenty of tweaking going on by Koeman, but what he's learned tonight, we'll wait and see. Coming next month when the game against Poland kicks off.
I would just like to give praise to Koeman tonight. I know Finland weren't the best opposition, but the Netherlands did look good. Finland were barely attacking. They did look a little dangerous in the counter, but I thought Netherlands defended quite well man-to-man, dealt with it. That we were dangerous from lots of different positions, set pieces, out wide. We've got space for each other coming forwards. I was pretty happy with it and actually thought that Memphis played pretty well too.
I think we played the best defensive football since the beginning of the qualifiers, because even the first match against Finland, they did have some opportunities in the second half. In the last 15 minutes, they were really dangerous. And of course, Malta were dangerous. Poland scored against us. Lithuania scored 2 goals. But today, no, I think the defense was great. We barely saw anything dangerous coming from Finland. Sorry, that was really good. The problem is consistency. We need to continue with this level. I really hope we don't see Oranje falling apart again next match against Lithuania or Poland. I mean, so I really hope we continue with this level of football.
The only part that I thought was bad defensively was after Ake came on. As soon as Ake came on, there seemed to be a big space at left back.
What's happened to him? He was great at one point.
Yeah, there's a trajectory where there's 2 players in the defence that shouldn't be there now, and those 2 are Ake and De Vrij. There's players in the Premier League are better, and there's players at left back who are better. Like Hartman was on the bench for this game, but yeah, as soon as Ake came on, Finland had a lot of space on that right hand side, and Gakpo obviously doesn't track back all the time, but it seemed that they were able to expose that, and that should set off alarm bells for Koeman, because he's already said that he's worried about Ake and his lack of game time at Manchester City, and there might be a reason for that. His form might just be out the window. He's getting older. He's lack of pace. Maybe he needs to play centrally or not at all.
Yes. I was hoping to see Hartman actually, but unfortunately, Koeman chose to use Nathan Ake.
Yeah, some different subs would have been good. You can kind of see why he's just sticking with it for now. Maybe it's the next international break. We'll see some of these different players. If Hartman gets selected again, he might get some minutes.
Yes, hopefully.
Interesting tonight that there was no Eredivisie player in the starting 11 as well. It's all outside of Eredivisie. It's
lacking some talents at the minute that are at the top of the league, isn't it? There are some talents there, but they're not playing for PSV final or Ajax. Quentin Timber, I suppose, would have been one that might have played, but still not a starting player, is he?
No. It was interesting because the commentator tried to rattle some off that weren't picked, and he just went with Davy Klaassen and Steven Berghuis, and I was like, no, come on, you don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to say that they should be called up. But yeah, it was interesting to see that it seems to be, because the Eredivisie is struggling at the moment and they're struggling in Champions League, that it is the players that are playing in foreign leagues that are getting the opportunities now.
Yeah. Should we bring in some live comments? We've been on air for about 10 minutes now, and we've gone around the house a little bit. It'd be nice to see what people are saying. So if you want to drop a live comment, please do. If you're not watching live, leave us one down below and we'll react to it and get back to you. If you're enjoying our podcast, do give them a like. We'll be on air a little longer tonight. We were quite a short one against Malta. 3 of us are back here tonight. We want to really delve into a number of things. So drop us those comments. There's some credit here for Ronald Koeman for getting the team ready from the first minute. The subs are unimaginative. Chris is happy with the better performance. So he's tied it up at times. Alexander says it's a really enjoyable game. It's coming together, but Weghorst disappointing for him. Wally says that Klaver was playing attacking midfielder better than Reinders, which Abdul agrees with. Somebody even said, I think that, here it is. Matthew says, I love Reinders playing in the 8, not the 10. I think he's better in that role. Be interesting to get your thoughts on that in a minute. We've had a comment about Omega. Can he come in maybe and still provide an option? I don't think he's going to come and be a starting striker still. The trust, obviously, of Memphis for this competition, this World Cup coming. As Andy will start to see Frimpong instead of Simons at that point. Maybe we've learnt all about Frimpong that we can, though. Maybe it was a chance for Simons to come on and impress. Adrian Nix, I think, weighed in with what we were saying about De Vrij. He's not the defender he was years ago. He's more of a rotation player now. And Jack says, great luck for Oranje. Excellent tempo and proactive movement. Only negative was seeing Weghorst come onto the pitch. He was useless. I think we would have seen Mirdink come on at this point in the game had he been fit, of course, in this international break. What would you like to talk about from all that?
I think knowing Koeman, definitely Memphis is going to the World Cup. I think he deserves it. He's been scoring. He scored the last match against Malta. He scored and he had an assist today. But I think Memphis and Weghorst will go to the World Cup. So it's all about picking maybe another striker or a third striker. Who would that be? Will it be Mirdink or Omega? To be honest, I don't know. We will see how it's going to go.
Either of those guys are going to bring something different, and they will bring that enthusiasm to the international stage, given that they haven't played there yet. So I suppose that's the excitement of taking a wild card striker. And must mention for Memphis, became the top assister for the Netherlands as well tonight, for what that's worth. I don't know who's been counting all the assists in the previous years before assists were actually a thing, but he overtook Schneider tonight. I think he also has most goal contributions now, goals and assists. Rising above Van Persie, but I might be wrong on that one.
I'm not sure. Really.
Yeah, he's far above Van Persie now. He's like 13, 14 above him. He's the top goal scorer, top assister, and he's scored the most penalties as well for Netherlands in history. So, whatever you can say about him is he keeps providing. So, his overall game today, he gave the ball away quite a lot, but when you can get off the pitch, you got 2 assists and a goal. I mean, how can you say anything else apart from that he's so important?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I've not seen one comment negatively towards Memphis this evening. Sometimes we do get those. Sometimes we're critical as well. Can't be critical of him tonight. Did look good. Yes. Maybe then if he's fit for the World Cup, he can still be that important player for us. And maybe we should, everybody, we start complaining about him if he's playing like tonight.
Yes. Plus, the World Cup needs some experienced players. Of course, we will not be happy if all the experienced players are dropped out from the starting 11 in the World Cup. Memphis, I think he's going to be a very important player in the World Cup. He has been in 2014, 2022, and I think he will be an important player in 2026 as well.
Yeah. A couple more comments came in. Sebastian was saying, finally a consistent game for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And no creativity tonight from the fullbacks. But Dumfries did get forward a number of times into the box. And I didn't think his performance was too bad. Maybe a couple of times his deliveries could have been a bit more accurate, but still was getting into the right areas. Van de Ven got forward once or twice, from what I can remember. What are your thoughts on this one? Is this harsh or is this something I missed?
I think the attacking line with Kluivert did all the job. They did not leave anything for Dumfries and Van de Ven to help. It was enough for them to attack. That's why maybe they seemed invisible a little bit, Dumfries and Van de Ven. But I don't think they were poor. I just think the attackers did the job. That's the point.
Yeah, I think it's in both games. Van de Ven, he's great defensively, but going forward, he's not going to score and as many goals as Dumfries does. He's not going to provide as many assists. When he gets forward, he's basically just laying the ball off for Gakpo to do what he does. So yeah, I thought they were both good tonight. I think Dumfries really good in the first half. I think he tired in the second one. He wasn't really prominent then, but I think you saw night and day that when he doesn't have that winger who's hugging the touchline, the Dumfries makes a much bigger impact.
And some people saying about Klaver as well. Obviously, wasn't the only one that he'd fit better as a 10, but he then got taken to Gianni Reiner's out. So Reiner's then as a number 8 with Frankie. With the amount of options midfield now, as well as centre back, do you think that this is right? Do you think that Reinders should be a starting 8 now next to Frankie? That is the starting 2 midfield, and there's number 10 in front of them. Because actually, we've had somebody here say like Klaver was really good, and somebody saying that I don't think he played that great, and Simons would be better. My personal opinion, though, I don't want to see Simons start a game anytime soon for the Netherlands. What are your guys' thoughts?
No, I think Kluivert is way better behind the attackers. This is the third time we see him play in that position, twice against Spain and tonight, and he proved himself in that. I think he earned to be the number 10, of Oranje. So I disagree with that. And about Reinders, it will always be Frankie with Gravenberch or Reinders, whoever is ready to play, because they both perform well. But maybe nowadays Reinders is not really performing with Man City as good as Gravenberch performing with Liverpool. So it might be Gravenberch and Frankie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think in the first half, I think Gravenberch was a lot more involved than what Reinders was when he came on. I remember 2 really good passes from Gravenberch, long balls to Gakpo on the left. So they caught my eye more than anything the Reinders did when he came on. So it will be between them 2 for the 8. Right now, I say Gravenberch has my nod. But it all depends on form going into that World Cup. It's a great option. If one gets injured, you've got another one to step in. So it's a great problem to have. But yeah, I think Simons struggling for form at Tottenham, even though he's not played many games for them. I think he was poor in the last one. He just doesn't seem to fit in the Netherlands. He did well tonight. He got the assist for Gakpo, but we need to see more from him when he's at a 10. He needs to be doing a lot better on the ball. So it would be good for him to have a few matches on the bench and not automatically just start and have to prove himself. So we might see a better Xavi Simons if he knows that he's got Justin Kluivert ahead of him and he needs to prove himself.
We have 2 games left, of course, Poland away and then Lithuania at home. In the Poland-Lithuania games, do you think we could see 2 different lineups? When I say 2 different lineups, I mean slightly different ones in that in the Poland game, you might see Frimpong start on the right wing. And then the Lithuanian one, you might see Marlon start for those different reasons. Like we saw Frimpong will stay wide. He's got tricks. Marlon will play more in the middle and we have more of the ball. So there's more of a danger in the penalty area. And which players do you think, sort of 2-pronged question here, which players would you like to see come in and be tested in those 2 games? Because they are 2 different games.
We could see Frimpong playing a game and Marlon the other. I don't think this will leave a different influence. They are both good in that position, but it's only about the playmaker. I think this was the missing spot with Oranje. As long as it's filled with the Kluivert, I think we will be okay. About trying some new players, I would love to see Hartman, really. He could be the best replacement in case Van de Ven is injured or, we needed him as a sub. I think Hartman is the best option. Emega, I don't know if he's going to be ready, or Merdink. We need to try another striker. Depending only on Memphis and Weghorst is not really a good idea until the next year,
Yeah, I think the game against Poland, I think he'll set up the way he did today. I think this will be his lineup against Poland. I think he'll be happy with this one. You'll go with that against Poland, and then Lithuania would be the game that he might experiment. It depends what happens. If Poland win tonight and then Poland beat Netherlands and there's something actually riding on the game against Lithuania, he's going to go with his strongest 11. But if it's a time for him to experiment, we might see some stuff. But I don't think, because there's something possibly riding on that game against Poland, the squad's going to be pretty similar. There's only going to be like one or maybe 2 changes to the squad. So there's not going to be that many opportunities to test things out. Whether it's Omega or Meerdink who becomes that option, it depends on fitness. I think Omega would have been the one that got picked if he didn't get injured for Strasbourg. So if he can come back fit, score some goals, then I think he'll be in there. Meerdink has still quite a lot to prove. He's not really playing that well for AZ. He's obviously going to be out, I think, for weeks now. So I think he'll be out for the November games. So I don't think he'll be an option. So it's going to be interesting to see who Somerville might come in. If Somerville plays really well for West Ham in its coming months, then he could be an option. But yeah, I don't see Koeman experimenting too much, especially if Poland win tonight.
Well, if Xerxes transfers to maybe a more stable club and he gets more minutes, maybe we will see him also in 2026.
Yeah. Is there a place for him in the system?
As a striker, maybe, because I think it's going to be one of them. Meerdink, Emega, Xerxes, Broby. I'm not sure about Broby. It's going to be one of them because Weghorst and Memphis will most likely go to the World Cup.
Yeah, I don't see Broby getting there. Like, he doesn't even start for Sunderland now, and he's not even done anything when he's come on. So
yeah,
I can be very critical of him.
Yeah,
yes,
which is not a surprise. I mean, we could all predicted that he was going to do absolutely nothing in the Premier League, and it's proved right. So yeah, like Xerxes needs to leave in January, but he's going to go back to Italy, and it depends whether he plays that well. And then I just don't see him making it into it. I think it'll be Omega or Meerdink that would be a surprise one. You know, in the World Cup squad, you always get one sort of surprise young talent that goes along with the squad, and I think it'll be Omega or Meerdink that get the nod. So I'm excited to see them eventually make the step into the national team, just so we can see less of Weghorst.
I'm just looking again at the live comments. We're missing some of our usual names and faces tonight in our live comments. Maybe they'll come up after we finished in the bottom comments. Someone disagreed with you, Abdul, about this must be Reinders related.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Reinders. Yeah, it could be. I don't mind seeing him with the Oranje. Really, it's either him or Gravenberg, but not together. That's my point.
Okay. There's an interesting point brought up that Finland played the 5-4-1, which we have struggled in the past against. But I don't know if that was because Finland playing so poorly tonight. I mean, the Netherlands did play well, but I did think Finland were pretty bad. Some of the others then, let's have a look. 2 strikers should be Omega and Marlon or Xerxes. But Memphis did play well tonight. I don't agree with that comment. But I do agree with Sebastian that we do still need a striker.
Yes.
Hartman, natural left full back. Van der Ven's makeshift. It is true. But I'm not going to blame Koeman for that. I think Van der Ven was all right. And in those games where we have less of the ball, I think games against France or Germany, that Van der Ven's going to be a really good player to have at left back. And it will work really well then. His pace getting forward would be good.
Yeah, I think eventually that we need to see him move centrally and we see a more conventional left back, but at the moment there's no issues with Van der Ven playing there. He's not put one foot wrong since he's been in the left back, so I trust him in there. And then it allows Dumfries to get forward however much he wants. And we actually saw it tonight. There's a point where it looked like Finland could get through, but it's the pace that Van der Ven has means that when a striker gets through, he has the pace to get back, because I think he is still the quickest player recorded in the Premier League last season. So it's always great to have him on the pitch just for those last second recoveries.
Yeah, agree with that. A couple of our regulars are here now. Michael had to come in with this comment here. Brian Bubbles at number 9. It'd be glorious. And I've had another one here. A World Cup. I think it's trying to say with a mediocre team with Koeman, that would be no surprise in the World Cup, and that we did left disappointed. I was saying this was one of the most recent shows that we are going to have a tricky World Cup. I don't see us suddenly doing well in that competition. Probably we'll get through the groups and then get knocked out by someone half decent. And that's quite predictable. We said that in the last competition as well and got to the semi-final somehow. Yeah, we'll get there, won't we, in April, May, and we'll all start getting really excited and we'll think that we'll do a great job and win the World Cup. because we'll have the best midfield in the world and we have the best centre backs in the world and everything will be rosy by then. But
Yes.
seriously, realistically, does your opinion change tonight about the World Cup?
In 2024, when we reached the World Cup semi-final without a midfield, we had Veerman, Schouten, Frankie was injured. We did not have Reinders at that time or Gravenberg, but we managed to make it to the semi-final and we lost in the last minute. We have to give Koeman a credit for that, regardless. Despite the bad performance, now we have a much better team, so we have no excuse not to go far. Will we play good? I don't know, but somehow I believe we can. We have the what it takes to make it all the way. I'm not going to say to the final, but we can make it very far, really. I don't like to be pessimistic, about this.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I think it's too difficult to be confident at the moment. I think Netherlands' performances are too bipolar. I think the fact that we're coming into this one thinking, oh, we've played great tonight, but against Malta they were awful, and it was on the back of 3 games where they were awful. So they were awful against Lithuania, they were awful against Poland at home. So one game where we played well against the Finland side, who didn't turn up. Finland were stank the place up tonight. It's hard to say that I feel confident going into World Cup, especially with Koeman there. But the squad definitely has the capability to go far. There's definitely opportunities for the squad to go far, and there's not many national teams out there you can say at the moment, oh, they look absolutely amazing. Spain win, Germany won, against 10 men the other day, but there's a lot of criticism over them. I see opportunities when you play against England. I don't think this England squad scares me as much as ones from the past couple of years. So, and same with France. I don't think this French squad scares me as much as French squads have in the past as well. So there's opportunities there, but it just depends whether Koeman can get the best out of his players. And 9 times out of 10, we're proved they can't. But tonight was one of those occasions where he could.
You see, we're doing it now. We're 8 months before the tournament, and we're already talking up our chances that we thought we didn't have.
Yeah,
but it depends on injuries as well. Like this is October. We're talking about the summer. Like there could be 3 or 4 injuries before then that knock out key players. It always happens to some nations. So it depends what squad you have available. But Netherlands are lucky that they have so many options in defence, midfield. It's just attack. So if say Cody Gakpo got injured, or Memphis, was out for an extended period of time, who starts up front? Does Weghorst start up front in the World Cup? That's a nightmare. So yeah, it all depends on what happens, what players come through. I'm not really impressed by anyone at under 21 level at the moment. Now, they stunk the place up again the other day. Under 19s got beat by Wales in a friendly at home. So yeah, it's one of these things that players can come from anywhere, but at the moment, these might be the best options with maybe a Mega to get added, or if Keith Smith suddenly goes.
I was going to say Keith Smith, could he actually do it this season?
Yeah, if he trajectory went like that, and he was scoring every week for AZ or providing assists left, right, and centre, then he could be an option. But I don't look at anyone at PSV. I don't look at anyone at Ajax and say, oh, they're national team level at the moment. Sadly.
Yeah. We completely forgot about also Stein. Koeman might choose him again. I know he wasn't really impressing the previous matches, but he's also a potential name. Anyway, I think the squad we used tonight was the best, really. I hope Koeman continues with that. It worked very well. If you don't mind me, Michael, someone is asking what is the best 4 players in the back, I
was going to bring that up actually, and then ask what you guys thought about the ideal starting 11. But if we start with the back 4,
definitely the players who played tonight. I think Dumfries, Van Dijk, Timber, and Van de Ven. These are the best 4 we have. They are all amazing with their clubs, so they should be starters, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 4 that played tonight are the ones that should start going forward. I think that they've earned the right with performances in this game. I can't say the worst defender that played this period was Van Dijk against Malta. So But Van Dijk's obviously going to start. So, yeah, these 4 going forward. The only change that I'd make would be to the players on the bench. I don't think De Vrij should be there. I don't think Ake should be there. I think that you look at De Ligt and possibly Botman if he continues the way he's going to come in. But the starting 11 as it is now with Verbruggen behind him, I think he did nothing wrong in these 2 games, is the way to go forward.
Yeah.
That's the back line. Midfield has to be 2 of or 3 of Frankie Gravenberch and Reinders, with quite a few players you could bring in, I think, from the bench with good options in midfield. But then
Frankie
it's
Frankie is a must. So it's going to be either Reinders or Gravenberch.
Yeah, he's an engine next to him.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on who is ready and who is better, who is at his best level. The third one, definitely it has to be Kluivert. I cannot think of any other player right now. It's only Kluivert we have as an attacking midfielder.
I think, and this is why I asked earlier about Poland and Lithuania, those 2 games, because I think in the Poland game, Koeman might be more inclined to play Reinders in the 10. And you've got this slightly more defensive look about the team then, or slightly more technical ability, physicality in that midfield. Kluivert in the 10 is when you can attack more, or an attacking substitution. Do you agree with that? Or
I still prefer to see Kluivert.
Right.
The trio of Reinders, Gravenberch, De Jong, it doesn't work in my opinion. You need number 10.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think, getting into Koeman's head, he could do something like that. He could play Reinders in there, go with, his so-called big names from his big clubs and start at midfield again. But I think he has enough evidence going on games that it doesn't work. And with Kluivert in there, it opened up a lot more space. I'll be interested after this to see what Koeman has said about this game. Because if he's noticed it should be the fact that he should be praising himself for playing Kluivert. Because that was a big difference tonight. It was a huge difference in that first half, was him getting the space in tight areas. And against Poland, I think it's going to be one of those nervy games. If tonight goes the way we expect it to go and Poland beat Lithuania, I know there's still a huge goal difference gap that shouldn't be a possibility for Poland to drag back. But it could be a nervy game. The Poland need to win it. They're gonna attack. So it's whether he wants that physicality in there, or if he wants somebody like Kluivert who can pick up space on the counter when Poland are attacking and get to that space and run at them. Because I think even with pace, I think Kluivert has a bit more of that than Reinders does.
To be fair, I don't think Poland stands a chance against us, with all respect to Poland, if we play right, if we play our football.
Mm-hmm. I've just found one of the quotes from Koeman after the game. He says, we're nearly there for the World Cup spot, but it's not all there yet. We could still be faster, press more, just like Spain, for example, he says.
Well, it's good that he still believes that we need to develop more. That's how it should be. You should always look at the best. That's good.
Yeah, but it depends on him getting Memphis to run, to press more. Like, he needs Memphis to be running at defenders. There was pressing at times. There's one point where Memphis was having to go at Malin because he was far too deep. So yeah, it's down to Koeman to get his attackers to do that. And whether they have the ability, Memphis especially, the ability to press for 90 minutes, I don't think so. Not now. So it'd be a pressing for 60 minutes and then bringing on Weghorst to press for half an hour. So yeah, it's down to the fitness of the players to play something like that. Spain have younger, fitter players that can do that, whereas Netherlands don't.
Okay. Some of the live comments and reaction to some of the things we said the last 10 minutes or so. That Matthew agreed with Abdul with the back line. It's the best one we have is the one that played tonight. People were kind of agreeing with that. Dumfries, people go criticise him, but he always shows up.
Yeah.
And somebody else saying that Hato should come in at left back.
Well, Hato is not even a starter yet. If he earns more minutes, maybe 8 months from now is a long time for a football player. So we will see.
Yeah. Yeah, there could be 3 Dutch teams at the World Cup in some sense, with Netherlands, Curacao, and Suriname. That would be exciting.
Yeah.
Dick Advocaat at the World Cup. Love to see that. And Moment of Truth here says Claver I like, but he's not an automatic start for Bournemouth at the moment. Reinders is, Syria has midfield player of the season last season. Always a goal threat. As an AC Milan supporter, he was exceptional. Yeah. Anything you want to react to there? Or anything generally that we haven't talked about yet that you want to bring up, guys?
What do you make of in the midweek they're making such a big deal of Van Dijk being in the national team and having sort of like a celebration of his time? Like, for me, it's great. Like, Van Dijk's obviously a key player for the Netherlands, but the way that they're doing like a documentary about looking into his years in Oranje, for me, he doesn't go down as a total Netherlands undisputed legend like Van Basten Hulet unless we win something. So it's a bit weird to do a whole documentary celebration of Van Dijk's years in Oranje when they've only reached one final. It was in the Nations League. So it's all sort of, we nearly got there with Van Dijk, but not quite. So
who put that out of interest?
The actual KMVB.
Oh,
they did it. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like on the Oranje account, there was like interviews with like Memphis and all the players about how amazing like Van Dijk's been for Netherlands for the past, I think it's like, I can't remember, it's 10, 15, 20 years since he made his debut. But for me to have a big celebration of a player in a time around you without winning anything is a bit strange. Maybe that's just me. It's a bit strange, but yeah, to like celebrate someone, put them on a pedestal when Netherlands haven't won anything, and you're putting them up against, say, like the players of '88 who won in '74 and '78 who got to finals, and Van Dijk's not done that yet.
Yeah, 100%. If he wins something, then we do something like that. We celebrate. If he retires, maybe something like that is put out. Memphis, despite all the things we see about him, all the noise surrounding him, given that he's now the top goal scorer for our country, like surely he would get something like that. I wonder why they chose Van Dijk in that moment to do that.
I think it's like, I can't remember if it was 10 or 20 years, but it's like since he made his debut, it's like
must
10
be
or
10.
20 years.
Can't be 20.
Yeah. But like it's a milestone he's reached of like 10 years of playing in Oranje. It's just like to put out a documentary and celebration about it. It seems a bit weird when it's going to be like, oh, he's had 10 years and we've not won nothing. And yeah, it's a weird one. But I guess he is lauded as the best centre back in the world.
I don't want to be harsh on Virgil van Dijk. When he made his debut with Oranje, the team was falling apart. It was like the worst times for Oranje. The entire team was terrible. We missed 2016. We missed 2018. So he pretty much played like 4 years with Oranje, and the team wasn't good enough. With the central defender, he cannot really contribute much if the entire team is bad. It's not like Arjen Robben, for example, with his best level, he can always show something, even if the team is bad. But for a central defender, he will need some help from the midfielders, from the other defenders, and the team wasn't that good. I remember at some points it was Virgil van Dijk and Hoots as a defender also. The team was terrible at that time.
But you might shut me up by winning the World Cup and lifting it later this year. So then you say he's the best centre back in the world after that. I probably would. But yeah, it's just coming into the game. I thought it was a bit strange because I can't remember him doing something like that for Memphis, and he's top goal scorer.
I want to get a bit carried away and look at some of the teams that are qualified for the World Cup. I'll just find the graphic that I saw earlier on X and share that with the teams that are qualified currently. Am I right in saying that Brazil took up only the last automatic spot for South American qualifying or something along those lines? They were like 5th in their group.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. I'm not a fan of Brazil or Argentina at all, but I have to say they don't really have the best players nowadays. Even with Argentina, Messi is almost 38, 39 years old. Brazil, I mean, if you compare Brazil to the old times where they had Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos, and look at the team now, they barely have any world-class names. Same with Argentina. So I think Holland could be actually the second or the third best team in the world right now. If you see the name of the players, maybe Spain comes first, and maybe second between Holland and France, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's strange that international football at the moment, there isn't very many nations outside of Europe that you'd say would be threatening possibly for the World Cup. I think South American teams are hit and miss at big tournaments. Brazil for the past 2 or 3 tournaments have been really bad. Poor. It's just Argentina just always seems to be that bogey team that I hate us playing against as well.
Yeah. And there you go. Richarlison playing up front sums up for Brazil. Let me get the graphic up of the teams that have qualified so far. This is the one that Football Rankings on Twitter, by the way. If you haven't heard of them before, great page to follow for club and international football. But this is their so far who's qualified for the World Cup graphic. The teams in green have qualified, confirmed, and the ones in white are predicted to. The Netherlands are obviously there. They're projected to be in pot 1 as well for the competition. You wouldn't expect the group stage to be a problem for the Netherlands, but it will be late in the tournament. Looking at some of those teams, who can the Netherlands face and who will knock them out? Who there for you are those threats? England continue to have probably their golden generation, new manager. Kanté will do it at a big competition. France. Spain have been great in recent competitions. Portugal probably still have Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, they will, won't they? His 40s.
The 100% will, yeah.
Crazy. And then you've got Brazil who struggled to qualify. Germany haven't looked great. Belgium haven't looked great. Yeah, who do you guys think?
I only want to avoid Italy. They are on pot 4. I think having 2 European teams in some groups is a must. So I hope we don't face Italy. We don't have a good history with them. Italy is a very strong team, no matter how bad they perform. To be honest, I don't see any threat. We should be okay. In pot 3 and 4, if you just exclude Italy, we should be able to defeat all the teams in these pots. So I don't see us struggling. Not to mention, of course, the best 8 third teams will qualify. So we should be okay.
Yeah, some weird names in there like Panama, Cape Verde,
Uzbekistan.
Yeah. So it depends.
It'll be fun though.
Yeah, obviously Curacao and Suriname could still make it, and sad Indonesia got knocked out yesterday. They can't make it anymore. But yeah, it all depends on there's always shocks, so it's avoiding the shocks and who are the potential banana skins. And you got teams like Ghana who are doing really well at the moment. Egypt is a potential banana skin. Morocco can play really well if they're on point. Senegal, potential bogey skins. That's what you kind of have to set yourself against. And in terms of, is this going to be one of the strongest World Cups ever? Like some of the nations in there, you're kind of maybe not. But if I was Netherlands and you're coming up in the group, I'm just trying to think out what would be the group of death here. Morocco, from pot 3, you want to avoid Norway.
Australia.
Yeah.
Good decent team.
Who knows about some South American teams? Like Ecuador gave them a real tough time the last time they played them. So somebody if that's in there, or like Bolivia's there, if they're strong, physical, maybe that would be a tough one. But Italy from pot 4, that would be the one that anyone in pot 1 would want to definitely avoid.
Yeah. Well, Brazil, Croatia, Italy, and for example, Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, imagine if this is a group. That's going to be a group of death.
Yeah.
But then who do you think would be made like an easy group?
The easiest possible group for Oranje, I would say, of course, Oranje, South Korea, in my opinion, Costa Rica, maybe, Panama, sorry. So Holland, South Korea, Panama, and maybe I would say, I'm sorry, but maybe Wales.
Why are you apologising? Because we're from England and Scotland.
I know it's
Britain after all. So
Scotland should be in this projected pots because they're still in with a shout as well. So I don't know why they're not there in pot 4. But yeah, I think that's right. I think if you had a group like that, you'd be pretty confident in making the knockout stages anyway. Yeah, like the more that the World Cup gets bigger and bigger, it's going to be smaller nations that make it, and it's going to be probably easier for the bigger nations to get out the group stages. And then it's going to come down to, when you get to knockout rounds, can you beat, the Spain's, France's, Argentina's in a one-off game? That's where the Netherlands needs to improve.
Wait if they make it 64 teams in 2030, as they are thinking of doing. You will see Holland doing a group with Pakistan, with with Yemen, with some unknown nations. So
we've had a Faroe Islands win tonight, and then our third in their qualifying group for the World Cup. It's insane. And then if you start having third place teams from Europe qualify,
it's a shocking campaign for Faroe Islands. 4 wins. I don't think they have ever done that before.
But the thing is, nations only get stronger as well. So Suriname, Curacao, if they've got a chance of making the World Cup, then players are going to choose them.
Morocco, isn't it?
Yeah. So Jamaica, for instance, there's a lot more English players that aren't going to make England choosing Jamaica because they've got now a chance of making the World Cup. Same with Canada, a lot more players will pick them. Morocco, Ghana, for instance, Netherlands could lose quite a lot of players to say Ghana. So yeah, the more that the World Cup gets opened up, the more players will go and play for smaller nations.
Yes.
Well, it's exciting that we've now can sort of look forward to a competition. We're pretty much qualified, but let's not get too carried away with lifting a famous trophy. Let's look at some of the live comments because we're getting close to the end of this live stream. People talking about the teams we've just been looking at there. Some saying that they're now a referee qualified, so they'll help the Netherlands get a title one day. We do not condone match fixing, by the way.
Just don't help Argentina. That's all we want.
Yeah. Not a good history against them at all. Someone said they're going to support Uzbekistan. Same kind of things we've been saying. Of course, we hope something like this will happen one day. Dream group.
Yeah, we will see Lucadia maybe and Rosario. Yeah.
All of us Eredivisie fanatics enjoying it.
But just wait until they draw Morocco and then they choose Ihatran, and Ihatran scores a 90th minute winner to knock Netherlands out, and all the years of his struggles come back to bite us. Because it could happen.
No, but it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely for Morocco to go all the way to the semi-final. I think what happened in the last World Cup was exceptional. Something, with all respect to Morocco, it's very difficult they do it again.
But look at, say, last time Netherlands made the final, Ghana that year. Was it Ghana? Yeah, they only lost out because of Suarez. And Uruguay made the semi-finals. There's always a team in the World Cup that goes farther than anyone ever expected. And Costa Rica, I think, once did it, knocked out England. Just had to get that in there. So, yeah, there's always going to be one that goes far that nobody expects. And hopefully it's not against Netherlands that they win. Like Saudi Arabia last time, beating Argentina. Who saw that?
Yeah. It's very unlikely to see a big nation is eliminated from the first round, especially with the best third teams qualify. But maybe in the round of 32, in the second round, we might see some surprises.
Should we wrap up for this evening then? Anything else you guys want to bring up?
Well, let's enjoy the win, and hopefully Dutch clubs will perform well. We haven't seen them playing well in the European competitions lately, so let's hope for that for the coming matches.
Yeah, we just hope that, if that is us now pretty much there, that we start seeing some good performances from Dutch players in Europe, in Eredivisie, some talents come through. And let's hope that Omega and Meerdink can stay injury-free and give us another option. Because even I was excited to see Boadu at PSV, and then straight away he gets injured for months. So yeah, we just need to have some luck up front with some injury-free players that can come in and relieve us of Weghorst for now.
Yeah, long season ahead. Things can still change from a Dutch national team point of view, but excited we can now start to ramp up our content anyway for the World Cup that's coming up. We're back to club football in the coming weeks. We'll have some content on Football-Oranje for like the European games, the Eredivisie as well. We'll have some things back up for that. And then the Netherlands play again in November. In about a month's time, we've got the game away at Poland and Lithuania. So the same thing, we'll have a preview up for the first game. We'll have 2 live streams after the other 2 games. I hope people enjoyed this anyway and are still sticking around. We hope you enjoy watching. Do press like if you haven't already. Subscribe to Football-Oranje if you're new. Good to have some new people joining us lately. And much more over on the Football-Oranje website once we finish. Michael will be putting up some content over there. Always ways you can stay in touch with Football-Oranje. Should I give one more shout out for the scarves? Why not? They still are selling. Available anywhere in the world. You can get a Football-Oranje scarf to support Football-Oranje and our content. We know it's getting to the winter now. Well, autumn in the northern hemisphere of the world. So these keep you very, very nice and warm. I think I might have to whip mine out in the next month or so and wear it over the winter that's coming up. Yeah, there are links in the description on YouTube if you want to get yourself one. We'll, of course, get it sent to you as soon as we can. Anything else, guys? Or was that really, really it now? Nearly an hour.
I think that's it for me.
Yeah?
That's it.
All right.
All right.
Chatted long enough. Hope everyone enjoyed and see you soon.